Danny, I mentioned the match at Peterborough.
Yep.
Of course, Peterborough, the new boys in the Championship, up against Wayne Rooney's Derby County. Derby County were looking good for the 3 points, and then 11 minutes added on for an injury earlier on in the second half to Derby's Colin Kazim-Richards. And that proved fatal for Derby. Peterborough got 2, Peterborough got the points, and afterwards the owner, Darragh MacAnthony, was absolutely jubilant.
I'm very stressed, but to be fair, we got hammered in the first 2 games. But I said to you before the game, I was looking for a performance today more than the actual win. And the one thing about us last year, we were the best team in the whole of the UK coming from behind. So when 11 minutes went up, I fancied us. And I said to Baz, I think we can score a couple of goals here. And yeah, it was brilliant. I thought we deserved it.
Listen, but I mean, what is your stress level like?
Bad. You know, like I'm 45, I probably look 55. And I've just lost 15 pounds. But my heart's beating. And the last time we were here, we were 3-0 down. It was 3-3 to get promoted. So every time we've been back here, it's like, listen, good for the TV cameras today, because obviously we a bit of entertainment. But I'm very, very stressed, but I'm very relieved. I'm happy for the manager and the players. They deserve that today. Do you know what I mean? Can I say this? I mean, you said to me pre-match that about a year ago you were thinking about selling up. Yeah, when the points per game went against us and we were, unfairly taken out of the promotion race, we were in the mix. Wickham took our place in the playoffs, and at that point I was kind of close to going, that's it, I'm done. I thought that was the final kick in the cojones, and then obviously I went again last year. We retooled up, we sold Ivan Toney, and then we won promotion, and now we're back. Obviously we're 1 league from the promised land. It's mad, a club our size, but we're on the up, and we've got a Cat2 youth academy, and we're now like in the Championship, and we belong. We're a good team, we're a good young team, and we'll get better. We'll get a lot better than what you're saying.
I mean, again, before the match, you said to me, Darragh, I've got to be involved in football. It's like a drug. I mean, it is. You couldn't live without football, could you?
I've done it for 15 years now, since I was like 29, 30, and like you, I love the game. I'm in it for the love of the game. I don't make any money from football. Maybe we get to the Premier League, I might, but I don't make any money, but I love what I do. And that's why I spend so much time away from my family. So when I get trolled or I get hammered when we lose, that's what hurts more. But when you don't even get petrol money and you're getting abused and all you're trying to do is like do the best for your club, that's when it hurts the most. So look, for everyone involved with the club, today was special, but it's only a start. It's not a cup final. We won a league game, so we want to win another 25 of them.
Is it all worth it, Darragh? I mean, you've missed part of your kids growing up. They're over in the States. You're here. Yeah. You'll go back and rejoin them shortly.
I haven't seen them for 40 days. I won't see them for another 20. But it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it, and this is what it's all about. And they'll get plenty of me when I get home. You have to come to every game now because you're my lucky mascot.
Darragh, I loved it. Listen, had it not been for such a good deal you did, regards Ivan Toney.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then the club could be in a bit of trouble, because you did well in that. You negotiated hard.
I did. I got good partners, so we would have been okay. But look, during the pandemic, we had no money, so I did a deal in the heart of the storm, right in the middle of the pandemic, and it's ended up getting us 7-8 million so far. It paid for our promotion. It paid for us to do things we're doing with the club. My partners have jolted in there as well with some of that. So that was big for us, and now we want to be in a position where we don't have to give away the Ivan Toneys for 7-8 million. We'd like to be giving them away for 30. That's going to make a hell of a difference to a club our size.
I was Darragh MacAnthony, Peterborough chairman and owner, speaking to me after the match, after they turned it around. They won 2-1 in the Championship. Simon, can you identify with that? I know you know Darragh, but honestly, that literally is minutes after full time.
Yeah.
And he's like, you can see the relief that they've managed to get. It was a Houdini act. They were looking at no points to get 3.
Darren's a very invested chairman, or what, I think he's president now, isn't he? And wears his heart on his sleeve. He does his own podcast, doesn't he, which is very hard hitting. He has very strong views, and one of the few people that actually says anything of substance when it comes to the controversies that often happen in the Football League. Darragh's got the gumption and the courage of his convictions. He's also very smart, and he's done a great job at Peterborough, because, as I said at the top of the show, they constantly find these players that they're able to monetise. And he's right. If he can find an opportunity to move from getting 8 or 9 million quid, which by the way isn't bad dough, out of a transaction if you're a League 1 club going into the Championship, and move into the 30 million bracket, then it gives them real opportunity. But they're a decent club, Peterborough, a good place to go and play football. And Darragh is very focused on trying to be successful at Peterborough. I've known him for a long time in various guises, and I like the way he operates. I like the fact he's got the courage of his convictions. I like the fact that, he has an understanding of what's expected from his club and what he expects of his club. And like most football club chairmen, and people seem to think that they sit there isolated from the emotivity of what's involved, and it's only the principle of fans that can get all emotional. when you win a football match as a football club owner that actually cares about your club, it means just as much as to them as it means to the people that support it in fan guys, because he'll support it as a chairman. So look, the pressure is all relative, isn't it? You know, they're in a championship, and I listened to him at the back end of last season talking about the opportunities. The year before, he was spitting and really furious about the way the league was curtailed and the opportunities that were taken away from Peterborough. I think they missed out on getting into the playoffs by the very nature of wins per game or something of that nature because of the curtailing of the league. And he was outraged by it, and he said so. So it's nice to see them up and about and doing well in the championship. They've been there before. The key for him will be to stay in the championship and try and build from there. And I wouldn't put it past them. And it's an interesting relationship because Ferguson comes in, he comes out, he comes in, he comes out. Darren Ferguson, they seem to make it work. So well done to Darragh.
To be fair to MacAnthony as well, Simon, there's a boy in there, Joe Randall, who they bought. It's my understanding they paid about $1 million for him from Exeter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they go into the market and he has to spend pretty big. For a club like Peterborough, that's big money. Now, you know, to be fair, he's prepared to invest to try and bring success to this club.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they'll recycle cash, and I think they've got a few investors around them now that Darragh's been able to get into the business that share some of the loads. And if they balance their books well and sell their players to be able to trade and at the same time speculate a proportion of the money they get back in. Yeah. If he's getting 8 or 9 million quid out of Tony one way or the other, he punts £1 million out. Some could say, well, that's nice work. If you've got 7 million additional revenue, he'll turn around and say, well, I haven't got 7 million additional revenue. No. I've got to fund a football club that is bleeding out of his eyes. Yeah. So fair play to their scouting network. Fair play to what they do.
He did say, Danny, in there that a year ago he was thinking of chucking it, Darragh MacAnthony, but he can't because the lure of being the owner of a club of that standard, trying to make progress in the Championship, is too much. And, he doesn't want to chuck it. He makes sacrifices. He said, while I was in his office, he says he'll see his kids in a few weeks. They're crying out to see him over in the States. He'll get there when he gets there.
It's probably a battle a lot of owners have who care about the club and look at it from two aspects. One is the love and the passion of the club and wanting to be involved, and the other one from a business point of view where you feel like you're bleeding money and you're thinking, what's the point? But that love for the club and the love for football takes over, maybe ego a little bit. But yeah, it's a club like many in the Championship whose sole priority really is to stay in there, consolidate and build.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be doing that the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, he'll see the model of Luton that have managed to stay in the Championship as a decent model. They have a different set of principles and a different set of ideals and more fan ownership than what Darragh MacAnthony has in their mix. But Darragh is a driven individual. And even if I haven't listened to all of it, but if you listen to his podcast, he doesn't pull any punches on the podcast that he does, which is quite interesting from the language that he uses to the views that he expresses.